Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to this episode as well. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for watching. Wherever you are at home, at work, in the office, wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining us again even today. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot stop appreciating your support in as far as this channel is concerned, right? We cannot stop appreciating your support in terms of subscriptions, in terms of watching, in terms of sharing the content, because we are getting a great feedback from from everywhere. Thank you so much. Please, those who have not yet subscribed, please do so. Those who have already subscribed, just keep on sharing. Those who have not yet tapped the notification button, do so, because we are actually uploading two videos every week with the new content, right? So we are actually dealing with chapter 2 now of our content. Chapter 1, remember, was actually on job seeking and application process. If you are only starting to watch this video today, just note that this chapter 1, the whole chapter 1, where we started from application, in fact from reading the advert and understanding advert, going to crafting the documents, application preparation for interviews, going for interviews, then vetting social media. How does the social media affects everyone? So those are the things that we have dealt with. So that was chapter 1. So it's actually from the application right up to the call where we say we are now employing you. Okay, we are now employing you to be part of us. Then it goes to chapter 2. Then chapter 2 is what is called work preparation program. Chapter 2 is what is called work preparation program. So you know that we have got the call. You were called now to say, you know what, we are grateful to offer you this job. There are these documents that we're going to send you. We would like you to go through them, sign, and return them back. Those documents includes one contract, right? Which is normally goes with letter of offer. Then there's another thing which is called salary negotiations, because some of the employers put it on the advert, but some do not. So this chapter now, chapter 2, it's dealing with number 1. Episode 1 is what is called salary negotiations. As to what are the key issues. What are the key issues? I think we deal with something like 6 elements, 6 things that you need to know in order to negotiate on a very good stand. Then episode 2 in chapter 2, which we can say 2.2, is actually the contract. This is what we're going to do today, as to contract. In terms of the contract, right, you'll understand that in terms of the contract, this is what normally happens, okay? You are given these documents. You are so excited, right? So you sign, you return them back to them. You start working, only to find out as you are working, there are things that maybe I don't understand very well, or you do things this way and you are called to say, no, you can't do it this way. You said, no, but it's part of your contract. So those are the issues that we'll be dealing with as to. Before you sign the contract, kindly note these points, right? Make sure that you understand these key considerations. We are going to name them, right? Number 1 is the type of the contract you are signing, okay? Type of the contract you are signing. There are actually 3 types of contract minimum, right? That you can be offered at work. 1 is called a permanent contract. You are getting employed in this organization, but you are getting employed permanently on a permanent basis, okay? So that's another type of the contract, okay? We're going to deal with that as well. Then contract number 2 is what is called fixed contract. Okay, contract 1, that's where you've got benefits, your 13th check, your bonuses, and all those things. So those benefits, package of benefits, is normally applicable in the permanent employment kind of contract. Then second contract is called fixed contract. Fixed contract, you'll find that you are employed maybe for a year or 2 years or 3 years, 6 months, and all that. Your employment is only fixed to that particular period, time frame. Some of the organization would say it's a 6 months or 1 year contract, right? It's a 6 months or 1 year renewable contract, depending on the availability of funds. It's actually a 1 year renewable contract, but it's the condition for it to be renewed is actually the availability of funds. So now, when that 1 year or 2 years get to an end and there are no funds available, right? So they will not renew your contract. You don't have to fight about that because it's stipulated in the contract, okay? Some people get to not look at those details, then they come and put the case only to find out there's no case because it's stipulated in the contract, okay? Others will be fixed term renewable, but there will be no condition to say or else the condition will be different based on performance, right? Which means this one, the money is there, but the condition for it to be renewed is actually based on the performance, okay? So those are the types of other things that you need to be looking at. Then other contract is what is called independent contract. This one is mostly applicable in a freelance type of a job, right? Whereby now you'll work here for these hours, right? Then you know, let's say for instance 3 hours. After that, you are out. You can do other types of jobs. Yabana is called freelance. Like for instance, it's independent, or else you are a consultant. You are employed. You are here as a consultant, not as a full-time employee, as a consultant for this particular project. So you are going to be paid based on the terms and conditions agreed upon for this particular project that you are consulting. So those are the types of the contracts. Go deeper and research more on this type of contracts, because there's a lot that is happening in each and every contract, okay? So when you receive a contract, first identify what type of a contract am I getting, okay? And what are the implications thereof of the contract I'm about to sign. If it's a permanent contract, it's a fixed term contract, it's actually an independent contract. So those are the things that you need to be looking at as an employee who's actually getting joining the crew, okay? That's point number one. Point number two, let's look at the documents that you normally get. There are two documents usually that you're getting. Is the letter. There's what is called the appointment letter, where they write to you to say, you know what, it is with great pleasure to inform you and all that. So things that normally it's a summarized version. In some cases it's a 1 page. In some organizations maybe it's a 2 page. I remember the one I have, the longest is 3 page. It was from a government department, a senior office. So there's a lot that they've written there, but usually it's normally a 1 page or so. So in that letter, right, these are the things that normally comes up in a summary form. It's congratulations, number one. Paragraph 1, you'll find that it's more about congratulating you of getting this job. Number 2 is salary. You're gonna paid so much per annum, but they don't get much in details, right, as to how is that going to happen and all that. Number 3, it normally point out the start date as to you're expected to start on this particular date. Number 4, like for instance, it talks about the issues of disclosure. Not that people, all those things are standard into every letter. I'm just highlighting the general issues, things that you can find in this letter, that you normally find in this letter. So if the disclosure is not there in your letter, it's not a problem. It's not an omission. So in that organization, right, they don't do it. They don't write a disclosure in this letter. But if it's in there in your letter, like mine, right, in the post I'm holding, there is a disclosure there that you have to disclose the assets you have and all that upon this so much time, 30 days of joining a period organization and all that. So yeah, disclosure is part of those. Then it also indicates the performance agreement that, you know what, upon signing your contract, you have to sign a performance agreement over this period of time, maybe 2 months or so, or a month, or it stipulates as to within this time you have to have signed the performance agreement, right? So you will be told those things. Then the last point, it actually talks about your response, that we are expecting a response from you in so much days. So if maybe 5 working days lapses, or 48 hours or something lapses, and you have not yet responded, we'll take it that you are declining, you are not taking an offer. So yeah, that's the letter that comes. Then there is a contract or another document, now a big one, right? Where now these things are explained as to what are this and that. But I'm going to go into those details. So remember, number 1, we talked about types of contract. Number 2, we talk about documents that you get, which is a appointment letter, as well as this document, which is a contract, actual contract. In some organizations, you'll find out the appointment letter, then this document, which is actually explaining what is in the appointment letter, right? Let's look now at the issues that you need to look at in your contract and make sure that you understand before you sign. Number 1 is working hours, right? Both contracts, sort of all types of contracts, they've got the working hours as to how many hours are you going to work, right? Ordinary working hours, okay? So how many ordinary working hours you are expected to work, like for instance, 8 hours a day, 45 to 48 hours a week, so those are the things. 1, working hours. 2, overtime. Overtime, okay? Are you expected to work overtime here? Okay, so going back again to hours, flexi hours and all that, what is it happening, all right? Overtime. So are you expected to work overtime? Is there an overtime in this organization I'm joining? Because you'll find that there are organizations that doesn't have overtime, but they've got what is called flexi time. So if you work over hours, you just get your hours back. You don't get paid for that. So you need to understand all those things so that you don't fight or you don't get exploited, right? You sign knowing very well, good, I'm coming here in terms of overtime, work overtimes, but I don't get money. I'm getting hours back, or I get money for overtime. So you need to be clear of that as well. Compressed hours as well. So this is what is called compressed hours. So those are actually clarified very well, and some of these clarifications, people, are very long. So are very long. So you have to go and get some more information where I don't cover almost everything, because I don't want my videos to be 3 to 4 hours long, right? Because I know people I'm dealing with, okay? Then, those are the average hours, a week and what. I think I've covered this. It's actually ordinary working hours, the overtime, as well as to weekends, okay? Weekends and public holidays, as to. In terms of weekends, yes, and public holidays, am I expected to work? And how are the hours calculated on weekends and public holidays? Like, for instance, Sunday in other organizations is 2 days, right? So in some it's not. So try to check, and some Sundays it's a normal working day if you're working in shifts. So you are working in shifts, it's your shift on Sunday. So which means it's not an overtime or some kind of thing. So try to understand clearly those things as to, in this organization, how are those things working? Right? Number 2, meal times. Here, we're talking of a lunch time as well as a tea time. Do you have lunch times? How long are they? Is it 45 minutes? Is it 30 minutes? Do you have tea times? How long are they? At what time are you expected to take these? Or are they flexible? Like, let's say, for instance, in this senior management, middle to senior management levels, you will find that those times are very flexible. So you can't say, I'm not going to attend a meeting because I've got a lunch time in this time. No, you have to be in a meeting. But it's either you eat before the meeting or after. So you can't be saying, no, I'm in a lunch time, I'm not coming in. So continue. Why did you put the meeting on the lunch time and all that? So those are the issues that you need to clarify. before. Your tea time, do you have tea times, right? Like for instance, now, I don't have a tea time, right? But it's flexible that when I need a cup of coffee, I do a cup of coffee, then I drink a cup of coffee while I'm working. So those are the type of things, right? And you know, like for instance, the work that involves a lot of traveling, you know, when you're driving, it's very difficult to stand, you know, and say, I'm taking my tea time. To stop the car and say, I'm taking my tea time, I'm taking my lunch time, right? So you drive and get where you have to get to, and you eat on the way. So those are the things. But no, I didn't check my lunch, I didn't take my tea time. Those are the things that you need to check as to how is the organization you are joining managing those things, right? I hope that we are moving well, right? Let's go to another point, okay? Leaves. Yes, leaves. Okay. In terms of leave days, what type of leave days are you having? Generally, there is what is called annual leave, where you are given days over a period of a year, right? But usually, in your pay slip, you will be told that you've got so many number of days, and you find that those days are accumulating, right? As you are starting to work, each month you're accumulating so much. So try to understand as to, do you have annual days? How many? You know, how many? In fact, everybody should have annual leave days. But how many? You know, do you have? And how do they accumulate? How do you then understand that? So you need to check that. Sick leave. How many days? You know, sick leave do you have over a period of a year or over a leave cycle? There are those things that says these ones are over a cycle. Understand their cycle as to, is it a 3-year period? Is it a 1-year period? So how do you work? And all these things will be relevant to your type of employment, you know. So as to sick leave, how does it work? Family responsibility leave. Do you have family responsibility leave as well as maternity leave? So those are 4 types of leave that you need to look for: annual leave, sick leave, family responsibility leave, as well as maternity leave. Okay. Then let's move on to another point, which is actually payment, right? Payment. In this one, you need to understand the date of the payment. Are you getting paid on the 15th of each month? Are you getting paid on the 25th, on the 20th, on the last day of the month, which is 31st, 30, or 28 or 29 in February? You know, you need to understand those things as to when exactly am I getting paid? You are getting paid fortnightly, which means 2 weeks, or else you are getting paid weekly. Those are the things that you need to understand before signing the contract, because they are going to protect you as you go along. But if you ignore these issues and just sign the contract, these things are going to bind you, because you have signed the contract. By signing a contract, meaning I am accepting, I have read and understood the terms and conditions written in this document. Therefore, I accept, I put my signature as a sign of acceptance, right? So you are not just now bound by these things, okay? Then, yeah, I think under payment, Saturdays and Sundays. If you are not, you are working, you're a person who's supposed to work from Monday to Fridays, right? You are not working over the weekends. But, Gijim, you are asked now to, you will be asked here and there to work on Saturdays and Sundays. How will that be worked out in terms of payment, right? Are you going to be given back your days, or are you going to be paid in money for that? You need to understand that as well. Rate as well as to, okay, fine. Is it a different rate, or is it the normal rate? You know, so you need to understand those things, the Sundays and Saturdays. Also, the holidays, public holidays. How does it work in terms of public holidays? Are we working on public holidays? If yes, what is the arrangement? Is it a normal day, working day, or is it a different day, which means different rates? So you need to understand those things. Night work as well, right? If you, like for instance, you're working in firms, in hospitals, you know, in institutions that are 24 hours. Maybe your employment, your contract will be talking of shifts, to say you are working shift, you've got night, you've got a day, you know. So, or else when you are working the 7-4, the 7-4 or 8-5 type of a work, but now you are called at night to come and assist, what is going to work out? You know, how is that gonna be worked out in terms of payment, right? In terms of payment. So those are the type of things that you need to understand. Okay. Then people, there is a full chapter in the Conditions of Basic Employment Act, Conditions of Basic Employment Act, or Section 29, right? Section 29. Section 29 has got all these things, explanations, all these things, even the things that I did not touch. Here, people have only touched the very, very, very key things that you don't have to miss before you sign the contract. But please, Google Section 29 of the Conditions of Basic Employment Act. You're going to see. On that chapter alone, it has got 2 subsections. Subsection 1, it has got 17 points that are talking on this. Subsection 2, it has got 2 other points that are supplementing on the points that are discussed above. It's even saying, if after you have signed, you know, the contract, then you moved on, and there are changes that the organization is actually making. Those changes should be done in consultation with the employee. Then when you agree on those changes, that should be, your contract should be revised, and those changes should be effected in black and white. Then you sign a revised contract. So it mustn't just be a word of mouth and what, right? And these things, people, these things seem to not be, they don't seem to be important when you're about to sign this contract, because you're excited and all that. But when there's a problem, that's when you see that, you know what, I should have done this. So we advise you, we're providing this information so that at least you've got this information, you know what's happening. Because you will find that in most cases, when we started working, this information was very, very scarce. As a result, you just sign and see things as you're going forward. Okay, the last point now in terms of the contract is actually going to be termination of employment. You need to understand the notice period, right, as to what time is the notice period. Like, for instance, a contract will stipulate that maybe if you are here for 2 weeks or so, or a month or 2 months, these are the time frames that you need to serve. The period is a week or 2, I'm not sure, but please go check. But if you have been there maybe over a year, you are expected to sign to do this, to serve a 30 days or a 1 month calendar notice, right? And people, you will know that sometimes people do not leave the employment. They quit, you know, because of the animosity, toxic environments and all that, and they quit and don't even serve that notice and said, I'm not going to serve that notice as well. So people, there are implications for that, okay? Remember, you have signed a contract. If the contract says 30 days period, not unless you have negotiated with the employer, right, that it must be taken from your leaves and all that. So if there is no mutual agreement, serve the notice and get it done. Because what happens is that you are getting paid. If you don't serve the notice, the employer that you have just left has a legal right to pursue you legally and claim the money that was going to be paid to you on that month, because it's in your contract that you should have said. In other words, you are owing this person, right, a whole month's salary. You're going to get a letter from lawyers. And now, remember, when you get those letters from the lawyers, you have to also organize your legal rep, what defend you, and it's costly. So rather, check the notice first. Please sign what you know and comply with the contract, right? So that you don't find yourself, right, getting to in a costly activities, right, unnecessarily. Okay. Then, in the termination of contract, check the what is called a restrictive trade, right? In other organizations, it will be stipulated there that when you are working with us, you're working for us. If you have resigned, You are not allowed to work with our clients, right? Which means other organizations maybe that are their clients for a period of 6 months, or you are not allowed to work in this area. They will stipulate the area for a period of how many? 6 months. And imagine now, you went to these interviews, you did well, and you said, when they said, okay, Sharp, how long will you be available? You said, no, give me a 1 month notice. I will go and serve a 1 month notice and then comes. You did not read the restriction of trade. So when you submit your resignation letter saying, okay, next month I'm serving my notice and I'll be out of this. Oh, wow, good. Where are you going? No, I'm training another company. Okay, Sharp. Then they will say, wait. You are aware, Mos, that you can't work here until 6 months pass. Then, no, why? Because I'm saying they will pull your contract and highlight the clause that stipulate that, which is called restriction of trade. So please check off those things before you put that $1 million signature in that page, right? Thank you very much, people, and thank you. We hope, we trust that this kind of content is actually helping our people there, because indeed, these are very key issues that we're dealing with. Okay, then we have come to an end of this video. So, but please do not forget to subscribe, right? To like, to share the content, as well as click the notification button, because another video is coming after this one. And the video that is coming after this one is actually 10 things that you need to do, that you can do in the first 30 days of your work. You know that those who have worked with it, when you join this institution and you know what, you are new, especially if you're coming from outside, you don't know people here and all that. So you kind of get stuck and you don't know what to do, where to start and all that. So we're giving an outline as to these are the things that you can start, right, to build up your relations with colleagues, with management and all that going forward, so that at least you gel well with the organization. So that video is actually coming up next. So please watch that video, and don't forget to watch our chapter 1, which is job seeking and application process. It has got a list of videos as well in it, so that you are able to see what's happening. Thank you, and thank you.